everybody, this is Hannah from Mother Goose's Makery, and today I'm going to be making the Tonic Studio Seasonal Wreath Gift Box die set. It makes this lovely wreath that you can adorn with all the bits in the die set, which as you'll see here, lots of foliage, some flowers, lots of prettiness, or you can cut out the verso dies, so it'll actually cut out of the card that you're layering onto it, or it comes with a paper pad which has papers for all 4 seasons on it. So we have winter, and as well as plain, I say plain, as well as patterned papers, we also have things that can be cut out for the actual wreath. So these bits go on top, adornments, a bow. And then we have, for Easter, sorry, nothing's the right way around today. Easter, we've got some bunnies. It's floral on the back. We've got some eggs with some foliage. And that's stripy on the back. Then for summer, we have flowers and butterflies, and then some more floral papers. And there are also bows to go with each one. So this is a summer bow. This is autumn. Lots of pumpkin-y goodness. I mean, this is just beautiful. That's crying out for an 8x8 card or a memory book or something. And then this is also gorgeous. Love this. And then for the autumnal bows, we've got orange checks and some Hessian, which looks very realistic. I think it actually is real Hessian. And then we're back to Christmas. Those are the Christmas bows. I didn't show you the spring bows. In a second. Nice pastel purples, pinks. That's that. Meanwhile, the actual die set. The long bit's your outer edge. The short bit is your inner edge, because obviously it's curved, so one side's longer, one side's shorter. That makes your lid. That makes your base. They're very similar, subtly different. As Jodie says, your top is always bigger than your bottom, which I think underestimates massively the amount of junk I have in my trunk, but it's a good way to remember it. So this one, which is wider, will be the top because it fits on top of the bottom one. Also, if you're just looking at your die set and you want to tell at a glance, the top one is probably the one that has the verso, because you don't generally decorate the bottom of your boxes. You might do if you're feeling particularly extra, but by and large, you're going to be decorating the top. This is the edge of the lid, the outer, and short, so inner. These can be the lid ends if you're doing a semicircular box, or you can also do it into quarters. So if you're doing quarters, that would be the edge of your base, and that would be the edge of your top. What you could also do is you could divide up your circular wreath inside. And there are also some foil fusion, but I'd have to get up to get those, and that isn't happening. So this is the wreath I made. I used the pattern papers and no other embellishment because I just thought it's very pretty, but simple as it is. And then inside, I've just divided that in half. So you can put 2 different things inside. And the bits that divide it are the same bits that act as the end. However, today we are making not a wreath, because what else would you expect in a demonstration for a wreath die set? We're not going to make a wreath. We are going to make half a wreath. So we're just going to do half. And when I thought about it, I thought that is crying out to be a rainbow. So we are going to make a beautiful rainbow box with the wreath set. So we're going to not wreath it, we're going to rainbow it. Okay? Here we go. So, here we have the bits to make up the lid, which I'll go through in a bit. We've got 2 outer sides, 2 inner sides, and 4 of the base bottom. And then I've got 2 of the little dividers. So, what we're going to do, I'll move the lid out of the way, is we're going to start off with attaching 2 pieces to make the bottom. And the only point of difference, if you were making the full wreath, was you would then connect on the other 2 here and here, so you had a full wreath. But we're not doing that. But if we were, that's what we would do. So, take those off. Also, if you were making a full wreath, you'd need 8 pieces, whereas we're doing a half wreath, which is why we only have the 4. So, these 2 bits stuck together, and then we need to attach our walls to it. Now, I hate curved walls. Me and curved walls just don't massively get on. I find them tricky. I think it's possibly because I'm an impatient crafter and I don't like to wait for it to stick before I've moved on to the next bit, which is, I will admit, a failing of me as a person and not of the die set, but also, yeah, life's too short. So what I like to do, because we're going to be sticking another piece on top of this anyway, I will apply red liner tape. Because where the bits hit the red liner tape, they will adhere instantly. I will also apply glue in between the red liner tape, which will soak into the craft card and give a lasting stick, because although red liner tape is pretty solid, I think its stick can fade over time. And liquid glue is the trick to longevity. So, we have some red liner tape there. And then we're just going to use a craft pick to remove it. Somewhere in the midst of my many myriad crafty possessions, I actually own a red liner tape remover, which does work very well, but I don't know where it is, so it doesn't work so well because I don't know where it is. So just bear with me whilst I remove all of these. And now we're just going to push the cords back over. I'm going to pop glue where the red liner isn't. So because obviously my sides are curved and my red liner isn't, there's little bits at the edge that don't have red liner. So if I give them glue, then everything will be very robust. And this is the wrong side because this is going to be the inside of my box. So what I want to do is stick this to the base. So we're going to start off at one end. And we're just going to stick it round and hope so what happens is the bottom of these bits hit the glue and stick to the glue, and the tips of it stick to the red liner, which means you get like a double stick, which is ovs better than just one method of stickiness. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to attach these because I found when I made my first wreath, I started this end, a bit more glue, was that I joined it up, and then when I made the box up entirely, it was hard to get a tight, made-to-measure fit for the box and the lid. So what I'm doing this time is I'm making it, and then I'm going to stick the sides together at the end to make sure we have the right fit when it comes to overlap and the such. So that's all nicely stuck, apart from this very end bit where there is no red liner, so we'll just pop some glue there. And then you see this is the only bit we have to hold in place. And that's much easier because when I did the lid, I had to hold it for ages, and it was painful and annoying. And in a world where I'm an impatient crafter and I don't have that much time to craft, I wasn't feeling it. It was just bringing me anger. And the problem is, if I feel anger and frustration when making a set, then I'm less likely to actually make it. So I find a lot of my boxes that have the curved sides then don't get made, which is a shame because a lot of them are lovely. So I found a way to make it so they don't make me want to hurt somebody, which is always good. No one should be hurt in the making of your box. Right, so this one, we're just gonna curve it so it's gonna fit the gap, and we're curving it away from the folded sides. I'm just gonna pop that on the interior, and then this last piece, we're going to start here, at the fold, so my daughter decided to share her germs with me, so I apologise for any deep breathing from me. However, the snoring you can hear is actually my cat, who snores incredibly loudly. She's a lady cat and she's not very delicate and ladylike. Right, so we have 2 bits of base, 2 bits of side, and nothing's properly attached. But that's cool. That's what I want. So what we're then going to do is hide our workings. So we're going to squeeze glue. So again, just like the first time, going to glue these 2 together. And then this time, we're going to place it the other way up so that our neat die-cut, smooth beveled side is on the bottom. So this way, you end up with a nice neat edge on the inside and on the outside, which is what we want. We want it to have a nice finish. So now that we're shallow, it's just that we want things to be nice. Right. For the lid, we've done exactly the same thing. 2 of the bits stuck together to make a semicircle, and then we've put together the flappy bits. And then what we need to do is we need to stick the decorative layer on top. And what I've done is I got busy with my nesting dies. So I cut progressively, I skipped every other size in my nesting dies. Got smaller and smaller and smaller. And then place them to fit. And it was a bit of a faff, but we did it. So in the set, there are little M pieces for the lid. I've attached one to here. And I had to just make a tiny little connector because there was no tab on that end because the tab was on this end. And then I had to cut the tab off here because it was already on here. So what we're going to do, we're going to glue this on. And what I like about this set is, just like all the Tonic sets, you don't have to do exactly what's on the box. It makes a lovely wreath, as I've showed you. Or you can use the foil fusion. I use some of the papers, but you can use the foil fusion. You can use the die cuts. Or, like me, you can go rogue. Take the basic shape and make it something else. I'm just going to place this on. So what I just did was I picked out my favourite colours of Tonic Classic card. Cut out the half circles, aligned it all, and then cut out the middle with the same size nesting die, just so it all fitted. And what you must not forget, which I always do, is a craft card is a thirsty girl. Just likes to soak it all up. So you probably will need extra glue because you'll put a load of glue on. You'll be like, oh, this is enough when I use normal card. And then you'll be like, oh, why has the entire thing fallen apart? Because craft card is fibrous and it just likes to drink it all up. And if this doesn't stick, I might just get the red liner tape out as well. There's no shame in using a bit of red liner tape. I'm just going to sit here for a minute like this. Please hold. Whilst I hold. There you go. That seems to have stuck now. And the last bit I need to add onto here is the ends. So because of the way, because I'm only doing a half thing, we have the bottom tabs on the ends. What I should have done is inserted this here. That means that's for, oh, I can still do that. Cool. So we're going to pop a tiny bit of glue here. And glue on both the top and the bottom of this bit. And what we're going to do, see the hole? Just trying not to make any rude comments about inserting things into holes. Just pop it in. Push that down and push the flap on. So then it should be glued on the top and the bottom of this bit and this flap to this bit. So it should be pretty robust. Similarly on this end. So top and bottom. But because the difference with this one is the flap is on the outside, and we don't want it to be on the outside of our box, we are just going to trim that off. A teeny tiny bit less stability, but not much. It's still got a nice neat edge there. And what we're going to do is we're just going to pop that in here. I need to loosen that a smidge. Now, if we're following the do as I say, not do as I do, I'd probably attach the ends whilst I was sticking the sides on. That would be the sensible thing to do. Was that what I did? No. But that's what I would do if I were making it again. Now this one, just going to cut these edges off. Only so many flaps one can deal with. Right. So we're going to pop glue onto either side of here. If it's being stubborn, get my little magnets. Just be like, you could sit in the corner and think about what you've done. Same on this side, glue both flaps. While we're gluing on ends, we'll just glue on this one. I am. Right, so we have a lid, we have a base. The magnets we're taking off because it's now stuck. Stick them back on my shelf. Right, what we're going to do, pop the lid on the box. And then what we do is we tailor the fit. We're going to run some glue down here. And down the other side. And to that, we're just going to add glue on here, glue on there. as we've been applying the lid, oh, we don't want to glue the lid to the box. And I'm just going to hold that for a second. If you just glue it exactly where the lines are and where you think it's going to meet, it's all very well and good, but you can end up with a bit of a loose fit. Because that's a perfect fit on that side, and then on this side, we're just going to push it together. I'm just going to use my poker tool to push the inside. And there you have it. A cute little rainbow box. Which I think would be adorable, filled with sweets. If you're giving it for a little baby, you could pop like some rolled up little socks in it, or a little hat. And then, of course, you've got your proper full-size wreath with dividers. So you can see that that is just that. But I think it gives a slightly different use to the same box. And more uses equals more chance to use it. So I hope you enjoyed my little inspirational video, and I hope you make it. Stay crafty.